Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Well, as you have seen and probably heard in some of my videos, the red tractor here, exhaust manifold gaskets blew out again on numbers 1 and 4. So got the boom truck backed up here, that way I can take and get the hood lifted off. I'm not going to show doing all that. I'll bring you in when I'm actually working on the motor. If you want to see a little more detail of taking the hood off and that kind of stuff, just go back to the summer of 2024. I've got videos of when I did all this the first time. So, like I say, I'll bring you back in when I'm actually ready to start working on the motor and that kind of stuff, taking off the turbo and all that kind of good thing. Alright, got the hood off, sitting right over there on the ground. Now the fun job, taking all this crap all back out of here again. So, gotta undo these here. That clamp. Get the turbo out. Now last year, in fact, my dad's he actually ran up to the case place, and cause sure enough they actually had the gaskets on hand, but once I get this shroud here taken off, I can show you. Number 5 and 6, there's a break in the exhaust manifold right there, and so I'm only going to be replacing just number 1, 2, 3, and 4 because I've already done number 5 and 6 just last year. It don't need it again, so that part's not coming off. So I'll grab my wrenches, see if I can get the camera set up here somewhere, and we'll get this heat shroud taken off. Everything should come apart pretty easy since I just had the part last year. Actually, not even a year ago. When I called and talked to the case place, they were able to go back and look on the account. There we go. And they actually ordered the gaskets for me in July. This is June, so less than a year ago. All right, get this one up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yep. Must be a bolt hanging up somewhere down below. Oh, I see it. Right down underneath here. I'll get that one loosened up. We'll take that shroud off. That's supposed to come out of there it's actually notched underneath there. Take that little flange nut off. There we go. Alright, let's get that one back off. Okay, yeah, now you can see that joint right there. And right here is number 5 and 6. So that part stays on. Okay, next thing I gotta start doing is undoing clamps to take the turbo off. I'll get this clamp here undone. This here's the exhaust pipe going back to the muffler, coming right out the turbo, which is what I got the camera mounted on. Okay, clamps off. We'll loosen up right there. Now we'll jump to the back clamp. All right, now we got this back clamp. Well, I can see at least everything's coming apart nice and easy. Okay, now that tube well, I thought anyway. May actually have to wait till the turbo comes off. Because that's not, I don't have enough flex. And it can't come off, it'll pop off the, oh wait a minute, no. Take and turn this, realign the exhaust holes. There we go. Alrighty, that's got it. Now we're ready for the turbo. Okay, now all these little clamps. In fact, my dad just stopped by and dropped off the new gaskets picked up there at Bain Welker there at Winnemac, Indiana. In fact, I know last year when I did this, there's a Cummins dealer that no, they do truck, semi, straight trucks, all that kind of stuff, but they're also a Cummins dealer. And I tried to get my gaskets through them, but come to find out, this Cummins 8.9 that's in this tractor here, Cummins actually built it specifically for case. And so to get any parts for it, you got to go through case to get it, which is dumb. But this tractor is a 2008, and I think I've been told that either in 2009, 10, somewhere right through there is when they went from the Cummins engine to the case-built Ivecos. So they don't run Cummins anymore. Alright, I'll get them loosened up and get this little sleeve here taken off. Okay, took this little elbow here off. That's your outlet on the turbo. Now if I can get you halfway perched right there, get this piece here pulled off. Well, there's the top half. Good, there comes the bottom half. I actually had to put this elbow piece in new last year because right down through here it was getting split out and cracked open, and anymore it could have opened up and actually begin to suck air, outside air, right straight in, along with lots of dirt too. So if I remember right, that thing is, I think, just under 500 bucks, that little thing, if I remember correctly. But that's a whole lot cheaper than rebuilding the engine. I've had a couple people tell me that the only difference between this Cummins 8.9 and the Cummins 8.3, which is what we have in our Alice Chalmers 8070, is the Cummins 8.9 has a little bit longer stroke and a different crankshaft. And so they said, other than that though, it's pretty much all the same motor. I even had people get on here and try and argue with me and tell me, this tractor doesn't have a Cummins 8.9. Well, the little sticker right over there on the side says 8.9. And so, all right, grab my wrenches, we'll get this oil line here taken off, and I believe that's the push. There's the return. Just gotta loosen up that hose clamp right there and it'll pop out, and then take the turbo off. Well, get these 4 little stud bolts taken loose anyway. Alright, got the oil lines disconnected. Got these little stud bolts here loosened up, and there comes the turbo. If I remember right, yeah, there we go. You can just leave that return oil line on the thing. I'm going to pick it right up off top that exhaust manifold just like that. Well, now I got it sitting here in my hand. I've got to get spun around backwards to get down off top of this wheel fender. Well, it's got the turbo now off. And you can see all the black creosote there. Oh, I can see the hole in the gaskets there on number 1. 2 and 3 look good. And the front side there looks like if number 4 is blowed out. Well, I'll grab some sockets. I'm not sure what's that, might be about a 12 millimeter roughly. Start popping those out. Okay, getting these bolts here popped out. That's a 13 millimeter. So I'll get all these out of here. Now, once I get these sections here out on 1, 2, 3 and 4, right here on 5 and 6, that's a separating joint right there. So I may have to loosen this up. We'll wait and see. Depends on how much room I got to work with. But I wouldn't be surprised if I don't have to loosen it. So I'll bring you back in when I'm ready to start taking this here out. Alright, just got the last bolt pulled out. Now there's 2. Looks just almost just like the day I put it in last year. Lay him off the side. Number 1's already fallen out. Okay, well, kind of what I suspected. I'm going to have to take and loosen up 5 and 6 because it's got kind of pinched down right here. I thought maybe it would let me take and knock number 4 out of there, but now 3 is moving. Okay, there's number 3. Yep, perfect, nothing wrong there. No, it's too tight in there. And number 1 actually fell out, and it's caught down here right above where the top radiator hose goes out, hooks to the head. So I'll have to get that popped out of there once I can actually get this thing moved. Well, time to loosen up number 5 and 6. I don't think I need to take those off. Wait and see. But definitely gotta loosen it, that way I can actually separate this joint right here. Well guys, went from working on that tractor, had to get the shed all shut down, got the rain blasting down pretty good. There's looking out the shop door. Wow. Look at the old rain blast across the barnyard. That's really coming down hard. Well, the front line kind of went through. You can see right here in front of the shed practically have a little river flowing through. Going right out there the bean field. Blasted down pretty good for a little bit there. I mean, I'm not going to complain none. Today is Wednesday, if I remember right. And they're calling this coming weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, to be up in the 90s. So, a little additional moisture certainly won't hurt anything. Well, time to get back to work on the old turbo. Alright, well, still got a little bit of rain hitting the shed roof. And let's see here. Oh, right here's number 1. Nice big hole in it. And where did number 4 go? I just had it and I set it down. But okay, that up here That was 2 and 3. They were good. Number 4, surprisingly, wherever I put that. Oh, here it is. Wasn't completely blowed out. These have like 4 pieces of metal put together, and you can see there still looks like one holding it. Let's see, looks like it punched through at least 2 of them, if not 3. Yeah, looks like 2 are blowed out and 2 are still hanging on for a little bit. Alright, I loosened up 5 and 6. We'll see if that will let me take this out. I don't know. Well, I may actually have to undo 5 and 6 because this thing here has got to slide forward, and I'm already up against the radiator, the antifreeze tube. Well, looks like 5 and 6 is going to be coming off. Well, I'll take them off and bring you back in. Okay, I got 5 and 6 here taken out. Now, just take the whole entire thing clear out of here. Alrighty, got it sitting here in the back of the golf cart. I was just looking at the head. You can see how 2 and 3, they're good and clean. They've been pressing up against the head good and tight. 1 is pressing on one side, of course is gapped up and blowed out over there. Number 4 right here, same thing, not pressing down very tight, which makes me wonder if 2 and 3 here, something's not level, or the whole thing doesn't set good and flush against the head. Let's go find out. Okay, I took this thing here and set it on top of a steel table that I got. Kind of hard to see on camera. Not too sure. You can see the air gap underneath there. That's number 1. There's even some air gap there underneath number 3. And number 4, just a little bit on the one side. I'd say that's probably part of the problem. It's not flat. Well guys, I got the stuff sitting back here on the golf cart. You saw it there on my welding table on a good flat surface. Neighbor of mine stopped by and he had a straight edge laid across there, and oh yeah, number 3 appears to be the highest, and so I've got to try and contact the guy that has done engine head work for me before, and hopefully he should be able to take and redo that and mill it down and smooth it all out good and be good to go. So well, when I get ready to put this thing back together, I'll bring you back in. Alrighty guys, well it's a few days later. Got the pieces back from the machine shop. Here's number 5 and 6. He had to machine that so that it would match numbers 1 through 4. And number 4 here, he said was pitted pretty good. He had to take and machine that down pretty good. The two middle ones here, which were obvious, I think he said they were off by about 60 thousandths. And so quite a bit off on that center one. That's why I was holding up, and it wasn't allowing it was not allowing number 1 and 4 to seat down properly. So I'm gonna grab my wrenches and we'll get to work getting this put back on. Alrighty, let's take a look here. So far everything feels good around these seats. Yep. Take an old rag and just kind of wipe off anything inside that exhaust port's going to come flying right back out as soon as you start the tractor up. Get you turned around there. Okay, number 4. And you can see all the old, where it's been blowing smoke out everywhere. But yeah, off 60 thousandths. That's pretty good a reason for it to not match up very well. All right, let's see if we can get this stuck back down through here. Well, now the camera's right smack dab in the way. There we go. Kind of got to start on one end and then begin to work your way up. So let's see if we can get this bolt right here on number 6. Okay, I think that one started. And let's try number 5. With the thing pivoted up here. I've got those gaskets in as I come across. So I'm try and stick the gasket through the top and then pivot it down if I can make it work. If it's got enough room to pivot, we'll see. Come on, get in there. Ah, there we go. If I remember right, last year I think I torqued these to about 30 to 35 foot-pounds is what the case place told me. Unfortunately, today's Saturday. I just tried calling them. Okay, now I can see this joint. I'm going to have to take and kind of separate that a little bit in order to get the numbers 1 through 4 lined up. Okay, it's separated out. Now we're good to go again. I just tried calling them and they are closed. Okay, now let's see here on number 4. I can put that bolt through there like that, put the gasket in there, let that pivot down, and then get lined up into the head. There we go. I didn't think I would need to take number 5 and 6 off right at first. However, of course, that was before I found out how far off that everything was. And of course, to machine it, he definitely had to have that in order to take and match this part with this. Otherwise, the joint right here would not match. Okay, I'm going to finish up doing numbers 1, 2, and 3. And put the bottom bolts back in, and then I'll bring it in when I'm ready to start torquing. Alright, I got everything all snugged up by hand. Going across here at the old torque wrench. There's 35. I can't get on that one very straight. I'm going to have to take my extensions off to get to him. Let's jump up over here. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty, that's got that one. On up here on one. Oh, there goes my ratchet head. And of course, a manifold's not quite like a head where you gotta go necessarily in a sequence. But I'll have all the top ones, then I'll jump down, I'll do the bottom ones, and then we are ready for the turbo. Well, take that back. Before the turbo, there is a little heat shroud that goes right here. Gotta put that in before the turbo goes on. So I'll bring it back in when I'm ready to do that. Alright, got everything all torqued down. Now put this heat shroud in. Basically what that does, it helps protect your AC lines right here, and also the alternator, because right here's the back of the alternator. However, make sure you put this in before you put the turbo on. I made that mistake last year, got the turbo all mounted up in there, and forgot to put this shroud in place. When you do that, you gotta take the turbo back off to put this back on. So we'll get that on. See, that's a 15 if I remember right. Yeah. And it just kind of sits in there on an angle about like that, approximately. Guess I should have grabbed my ratchet. Yeah, they were tightening up. Okay. Yeah, there's kind of looking at it from the top. You can see how it just protects those AC lines in the back of the alternator and that kind of stuff. And then of course the fan, I mean you got air blowing back through there, but even says that's generating a lot of heat. Alright, well I'll take these little studs here off, and we will be ready to put the turbo back on. Alrighty, let's see if we can get the old turbo down in there. Oh, got a little weight to it, especially when you're not sitting very well on top of this fender. Now, let's see what happens. I gotta get that return oil line to drop back into the rubber tube, just like that. It fell in. Perfect. Okay, let me show you. Yeah, see? Now with the turbo on, you cannot get that shroud in now there. That's the goof up I made last year. Then I had got this thing all tightened down, nothing to do but turn right around, take the turbo back off, put the shroud back on. So, live and learn. Okay, now we got that stupid thing to stay up there. Here's the feed line for the oil. And then where we hook back on top side. There we go. Okay, just gotta tighten them up. Down there, you can see the line right here going down, and it drops down into a rubber line right there between the filters. You can see that rubber line in there where it drops into. Just gotta tighten up the hose clamp. Okay, I'll get all these little flange nuts put back onto it. You can see in here. Yeah, there it is. Well, I can turn it from the other end. Yeah, there we go. Got the turbine in there. However, though, if you keep running with those things out, it seems like you're going to be losing your boost pressure, because not 100% of your exhaust is going to be shoving through the turbo, which means lack of not quite the 305 horse the tractor's rated at. So, like I say, I never thought last year when I took this thing off here to check the level of that manifold. But hey, he's got it machined now. It looks better than a new one. Definitely a lot cheaper than a new one too. I priced the new, well, just this section right here, and right around about 310 bucks. And so to have both of these machined, 80. And there's nothing wrong with them other than they just need leveled up. Okay, I'll get these here tightened up, and then I'll bring you in when I'm ready to start putting the tubing back on. Alright, hopefully you can see halfway decent down across there. Get this here poked in. Kinda gotta get that back like that, then carefully roll this down so that it meets up with the turbo. And about like that. Yeah, there we go. Get that clamp popped over that. I'm gonna have to take and get my wrench and tighten that down just a little bit. It's not wanting to mesh together just right on that clamp. Now the back clamper on that piece, that's just a simple draw bolt. Get that spun around like that, tighten up that draw bolt, and it just pinches down. Perfect. This guy here though. Alright, well, time to get a deep well and begin to draw that in. That way I can get those to mesh together right. Okay, got the clamp here on the turbo tightened. Now this here, of course, is the clamp where it connects onto the next section of tubing. And of course it goes down over, then up beside the cab. And it goes through, now I'll show you here right quick. Alright, that's got that tightened up. Yeah, goes down, goes through that guy right there where I got my foot sitting on. And I think that's like a, no, it acts like kind of like a vacuum thing to help get dirt and dust. Like a pre-cleaner from the air filter right here. It's got this tube that goes into it, and then of course it goes over, then up and out. Okay, now I gotta get this tube here on. Well, you know what, before I do that, I'll put the big one on, that way it's more opened up right here. Okay, got the big orange tube. This is what connects the air filter to the turbo. There we go. Get him all shoved back in place here. Get my hose clamps around. There we go. Like that. Perfect. Get the bottom clamp here rolled up. All right. Well, I'll grab my ratchet, start tightening, and bring you back in when I'm ready to set the tube here on top of the turbo. All right, now here's the turbo tube connecting the turbo to the engine. Get it rolled around there like that, seat him down, and gotta get this clamp here opened up to be able to drop down around there like so. Let's see what happens. Come on. Uh-oh. Oh, lock nut jumped off. And now this right here, hard to do this one-handed. That tightens up the flex tube here to the galvanize. So now I gotta jump down here underneath the tractor and try and, oh, I see it down there, try and find a little lock nut for that clamp. All right, got the lock nut put back on. In fact, actually, you know what? I forgot. Gotta watch that clamp. This stud don't poke out and get in the way of the hood coming up and down. Let's roll that back the other way like that. Now we're ready to take and tighten him up. Okay, gonna tighten this thing here down, and this bad boy is gonna be ready to start up and run. I want to run it before I put the hood back on. All right, we're good and tight there. Let's start it. Well, let's see what happens here. Get everything on. Hey, now that sounds more like it. No more ticking sound. Guys, while you heard it running, everything sounds good. I just got the boom truck backed up in here, so gonna get the hood set back onto it, and well, maybe I'll bring you back in here once you get the hood on, and maybe I'll take it out and drive it down the road and back. So we'll see what happens. So I'll bring you back in once you get the hood set back on. We're ready to head off down the road. Alright, we got the hood put on. I'm out here on the road. Give a quick little test drive so far. I'm not hearing any more noise. Nice and quiet, as it should be. Because generally when you shifting through the gears and when you go to take off, that's where that's where it would really be really noticeable, that ticking sound. So, okay, we're up in gear number 18. Take, shove her forward, roll a little coal. Make the old tree huggers all ticked off. And hey, I can tell you one thing, this thing sounds great. And crap, like usual. Here comes the car. But I'll get turned around here at the one field entry and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, well, I'm going to call this and end the video. This thing sounds great, no more noise, nice and quiet. So take care. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.